Should we get started?
Yeah!
All right. That sounds like a good idea. Hi, everybody. How you doing? My name's Darrin. It's good to see you. I'm here because I love stories. I love them any way they come. I like books and movies and TV and plays and talking to people. I have to admit, I am partial to a good book. I love reading. I love libraries. Libraries are awesome. I always tell Mary I'd never do well working in a library because, I'd just be out in the stacks reading books, and that wouldn't be good. But today I'm excited because I brought a couple of stories that I'm really, really enjoying, and I think you'll enjoy them too. This first story is going to need a lot of help, okay? Because it's not a story I can tell all by myself. So I'll be asking you for a lot of help throughout. Is that all right? Yes? Good. It is not compulsory. However, it is appreciated. All right, now this story. I was not there when it happened. I am not hundreds of years old. The story comes to us from the other side of the world, from way over in Africa. Specifically from Western Africa, from the little country of Ghana. Now, according to the story, at one time there were no stories. All of the stories in existence had been gathered up, collected, assembled, and stuffed down inside a basket. And they were held by Nyame, the sky god. And nobody else had any. So down on Earth, all of the animals and the people, their days were passed kind of like this. I'm bored. I wish I had a story. The animals were like that. The lion, he said, I wish there were some stories about how brave and strong I am. And the rabbit said, yeah, I wish there were some stories about how smart and clever and tricky I am. And the hornbill with his big long beak said, yes, and I wish there were some stories about what a smart and clever bird I am. But alas, there were no stories. And so everybody mostly sat around complaining. Until one morning, the otter came up from the riverbank. He had been playing down in the mud, and he came up with, hey, everybody, hey, I hear you. I got an idea. I have an idea. I wonder, why don't we just go ask Nyame for the stories? All the animals went, well, we know where they're at. Why don't we just send someone to go get them? All the animals said, but who would we send? Who could go? Who could get all the way up to the sky? They said, well, we need somebody really tall. Somebody who could really stretch out and go all the way up. But that's exactly who they looked at. They looked at the giraffe. They said, you could do this. And she said, whoa, me? Oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's a long way up there, and I don't know. The animal said, come on, you can do it. She said, oh, dear. If I go, are you all behind me? And the animals all said, yeah. Okay. I tell you what. I'll do it. And the animals were so excited. They immediately all jumped up and began to dance around the giraffe and sing and shout. And they called out, they said, stretch out your neck and go up to the sky. And stretch out. Okay, that's just weird if I'm the only one doing it. Would some of you jump up and help me out? No. All of you, jump up with me if you will. And so they jumped up and they started to shout and they said, stretch out your neck and go up to the sky. And stretch out your neck and go up to the sky. And stretch out your neck and go up to the sky. Woo! Way to go. Good job. Good job. Good job. Nice job. That was very good. So she did. She went And there, on his golden throne, with his yellow robes and his golden kufe hat, there was Niame. Giraffe, what are you doing here? Why have you come? Oh, great Niame, ruler of the sky, I have come. I have come. Are you all with me? Okay. I have come to ask you to share your stories. You want my stories? I will not sell them easily or cheaply. But if you can get me what I want, I will give you what you want. Come here. And the giraffe bent her head down. And Niame whispered in her ear, Oh, no one can do that. What you want, it's impossible. Then go. And back down she came. The animals gathered around her. The lion said, did you get them? Did you get the stories? No. Why, what he wants? It's impossible. No one can do it. The animals rolled around and complained and whined a lot. But then they said, wait. Tall was not what we need. We need strong. We need an animal who's big and powerful, who could go up to the sky and be strong enough to get the stories. They looked at Gorilla, but he was actually off in the mountains doing some vacationing. What do you think? There was Elephant right in front of them. And they all said, you could do it, Elephant. You're huge. There's no way he'd say no to you. The elephant, he said, I don't know. I mean, I'm big, yes, but how will I get up to the sky? It was the mice who figured it out. They gathered around and they said, hey, we know what you can do. We know how you can get to the sky, because if you go, you could climb up the mountain, because the mountain's really tall and goes up to the sky. Woo! Oh, yes. If I go, are you all with me? Then I will go. The animals were so excited. They instantly leaped up and they began to jump and dance around. Will you help me out again? Okay, here we go. They called out and they shouted and they said, climb up the mountain and go up to the sky. And climb up the mountain and go up to the sky. And climb up the mountain and go up to the sky. Woo! Way to go. Good job. Yeah. So he climbed. And he climbed. And he climbed. Higher and higher. Until finally, he passed up through the clouds. And there, on his golden throne, with his yellow robes and his golden kufe hat, there was Niame. An elephant has climbed up a mountain to see me. That would make a good story. What do you want? A minute. I just climbed a mountain. Let me take a breath. I'm built more for strength than endurance. Oh, great Niame, ruler of the sky, I have come. Are you all with me? Yeah. I have come to ask you for your stories. What my stories? I will not sell them easily or cheaply. But if you can get me what I want, I will get you what you want. Come here. And the elephant, he flapped open one of his great big ears. And Niame whispered in, oh, it can't be done. No, what you want, it's impossible. Then go. Oh, the elephant was so scared he tripped over his leg and he fell all the way back down the mountain, rolling over and over. When he finally came to a stop, the lion said, "Did you get them? Did you get the stories?" No, what he wants is impossible. It can't be done. Now we'll never have any stories. But then, they heard a little tiny voice from a tree branch. And the little voice said, "I think I know what to do." All the animals turned. You? Anansi the spider? How could you know what to do? Well, I think I know how to get the stories. Giraffe couldn't get them and she was tall. Elephant couldn't get them and he was strong. What makes you think you can? Nobody said you have to be tall or strong, and sometimes the smallest of us can do what the biggest cannot. How will you get up to the sky? I'm a spider. I'll use my web and make a ladder. The animals were so excited. They jumped up. They began to shout and sing and dance. Here we go again. They jumped up and they cried out, "Make a ladder and go up to the sky. And make a ladder and go up to the sky. And make a ladder and go up to the sky." Ah, way to go. Good job. So he climbed. And he climbed to I totally lost that, didn't I?
You knocked it off.
Oh, phew. I'm a danger to myself and others. It's an old song. I have an old 1970s single, "What's in the Elephant's Trunk?" Neither here nor there. He climbed and climbed. It's a very long way for a tiny spider. Fortunately, he had 8 legs so that when 2 of them got tired, he could change out and keep climbing. But finally, there he was up past the clouds. And there, on his golden throne with his yellow robes and his golden kufe hat, there was Niame. Anansi the spider, why have you come? Oh, great Niame, ruler of the sky, I have come. He was much bigger in person. I have come. Are you all with me? I have come to ask you to share your stories. Share my stories. Giraffe could not get them and she was tall. Elephant could not get them and he was strong. What makes you think you can get them? Tiny, insignificant spider. No one said you have to be tall or strong, and sometimes the smallest of us can do what the biggest cannot. Very good. Now, if you can get me what I want, I will get you what you want. I want 4 things. I want Onini, the snake with a long, long tail. I want a fang from Osebo, the leopard with the long, sharp claws. I want Momboro, the hornets that sting like fire. And most of all, I want Moesha, the invisible fairy. Inside his head, Anansi was crying out, saying, "No, no, 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 it can't be done. It's impossible." But what came out of his mouth was, "Okay, I'll take care of it." And so he climbed back down. The animals gathered around him. The lion said, "Did you get the stories?" "No, I didn't get the stories, but I know how to get them." Niame only wants 4 simple things. He wants Onini, the snake with the long, long tail. He wants a fang from Osebo, the leopard with the long, sharp claws. He wants Momboro, the hornets that sting like fire. And most of all, he wants Moesha, the invisible fairy. The animals cried out, "No, no, we can't do it. Nobody can get those things." And Anansi said, yeah, no, alone we can't, but if we work together, if we arambe, Do you know what that word Arambe means? No. Well, no, you don't speak Swahili, which is a language that's used all over Africa. Arambe, it means pull together. In fact, if Anansi was to say that to the animals, if Anansi says Arambe means, why, the animals could probably yell back, pull together, right? Let's try it and see. He looked at the animals, he said, we need to Arambe. Arambe means pull together. Arambe means Arambe means as one. And the animals agreed. All right. We need to capture Onini, the snake with a long, long tail. The animals were scared. Onini was big and strong, and they were all frightened of him. It was Aso, Anansi's wife, who came up with the idea. She said, Anansi, I think I know what to do. All right, Aso, run with it. All right, Hedgehog, I need your help. Will you come? So Aso the spider and Hedgehog, they went over to the tree, and there, high up in the tree on a branch, curled around and around and around, was Onini the snake. Aso looked at Hedgehog and she winked. I don't know, Hedgehog. My husband Anansi, he says that Onini the snake is not really as long as he claims to be. My husband says he's not even as long as this log right here. What? That's ridiculous! No way! I mean, he's clearly the longest thing around. No. My husband says that he's very, very short, and my husband's never wrong. Oh, no, he's gotta be! He's very long! No, he's short. He's long! They pointed to animals, and they started to cry out along with them. He's short! He's short! He's short! He's short! He's short! He's short! Until finally the snake went, shh! Say, what is all this racket? Oh, Onini, we're sorry, we didn't mean to wake you. I'm having an argument with my friend here. My husband Anansi, he says that you're not really even as long as this log. And I say that's just ridiculous. You're clearly the longest thing in the jungle. No, he's very short. He's long. Say, settle this so I can get back to my nap. Well, I think there's only one way we can really settle it. Why don't you come down and lay against the log and we'll measure you? So the snake uncurled himself and he came down the tree and he laid himself out along the log. There, you see, Hedgehog, look, he's not as long as the log. Well, that's because he's all kinked up. Look, you gotta straighten out. So the snake straightened out a little more. See, no, look, he's still not as long as the log. No, look, Mr. Onini, if we're gonna show how long you are, you gotta straighten out. Look. I tell you what, we'll straighten you out. We'll just tie you to the log, all right? And in no time at all, they had that snake tied so tightly to the log it couldn't move if it wanted to. And Anansi took it to Niame. The animals were so excited, they began to shout and sing, and they jumped up and danced around. Here we go. They started to cry out and say, we got one done. We're gonna get the stories. We got one done. We're gonna get the stories. We got one done. We're gonna get the stories. Woo! Way to go. All right, good. There's one. Now, we have to get a fang from Osebo, the leopard with the long, sharp claws. Oh, a lot of the animals went and quickly hid. Nobody wanted to go up against the leopard. He was fast, his claws were sharp, and his teeth were strong. But it was, in fact, the porcupine who came waddling out from under a bush. And the porcupine said, well, you know, we have a lot of really good diggers here, and I think if we dug a really big hole and we cover it up, maybe we could get him to fall into it. And Anansi said, that's awesome. Go, well, come on, everybody, let's dig. So they began to dig. Shall we dig? Here we go. And they dig. And they dug some more. And they dig. And they dug a little more. And they dig. Whoo! In no time at all, they had a beautifully big, deep hole dug. Anansi called in the birds, and they brought in sticks and branches and leaves and grass and covered it up so you couldn't see it at all. And Porcupine said, now all we need is some animal who is small and cute and tasty looking to be the bait. And everybody looked at Rabbit. Why are you all looking at me, huh? What, do you think I look small and tasty? And the lion said, yes, I do. Fine. The rest of you go hide. And there was Rabbit all by himself. He stood there in the clearing and he said, oh my, here I am, a small, tasty rabbit, all by myself and alone. I hope no leopard sees me and thinks I would make a good afternoon snack. And sure enough, just at that moment, out from the trees came the leopard. The sun shone on his spots. His bright green eyes glinted in the sunshine. And he looked across the clearing at the rabbit and went, look at that tasty afternoon snack. And you know how it is when your cat's getting ready to pounce on something? All the muscles tense and the tail twitches and phew, like a shot, the leopard was off, coming straight toward the poor rabbit who's come on. And in a shower of leaves and grass, the leopard was gone. As he fell into the hole, he whacked his head and actually knocked out one of his teeth. Anansi came running up with a web and said, I'll just relieve you of that, if you don't mind. Somebody will be along to let you out one of these days. And he headed off with the tooth. The animals were so excited, they had two now. They jumped up and sing and dance, and they cried out and said, we got two done. We're gonna get the stories. We got two done. We're gonna get the stories. We got two done. We're gonna get the stories. Woo! All right, good. All right. We got two. We're halfway there. Now, we must capture Momboro, the hornets that sting like fire. And all the animals ran. Oh, oh. Nobody wanted to go up against those hornets. But finally, out from the brush came the tiny pangolin. Do you know what a pangolin is? No. They are so awesome. When we're done, you're going to have to go out into the stacks or get on the internet and find yourself a picture of a pangolin. They're kind of like a cross between an armadillo and an aardvark. They've got big armor plates, and they are the most adorable things in the world. And the little pangolin, she said, excuse me, I think I know how to get the hornets. Anansi said, that's great. Your armor's so thick, it won't matter if they try to sting you. What are you going to do? Well, I have this calabash gourd that I got from the garden, and I hollowed it out, and now I'm going to go to the tree. So she went over to the tree, and way up in the tree was the nest of the hornets. She called out, she said, excuse me, hornets, hornets. Oh, the hornets began to buzz angrily. What would that sound like? That is very good. She said, hornets, hornets, I have a message for you. What do you want? Should we sting you? If you sting me, you won't know what terrible danger you're in. We don't care about danger. Oh, but there's an awful storm coming. We aren't afraid of storms. But it's going to rain so hard, it'll flood your nest and wash you away. We don't hear anything. But she nodded to the animals. And way over here, the animals began to go like this. And then more of them started. And more of them. Until they were all rubbing their hands and paws together. I think I hear the rain coming. It's starting. They started to snap their fingers like this. And more of them. I can hear it. It's getting closer. They began to slap their legs like this. Oh, here it is. The thunder went boom. Boom. Oh, hurry, hornets, hurry. The hornet said, what will we do? She said, fly into my gourd. It'll take care of you. And they all flew straight into the gourd. And when the last one was inside, she popped on the cork. And Anansi went to Niame. The animals were so excited they leaped up to shout and sing. They cried out and said, we got 3 done. We're gonna get the stories. We got 3 done. We're gonna get the stories. We got 3 done. We're gonna get the stories. Woo! All right. Now, there's only one left. Moesha, the invisible fairy. And all the animals went, whoo! And the lion said, how are we gonna catch her? Hello? She's invisible. And not only was she invisible, she was mean. She wasn't one of those pretty pink and purple sparkle fairies. No, sirree, she was cranky and mean and ornery. Why do you think the hyena looks like he does now? It was Moesha. But the mice, they said, hey, now, doesn't she dance underneath the tree every day at noon? Yes, she does. And the squirrel said, hey, and I know that she really likes to eat sweet potatoes. Anansi said, great, this is good. Squirrel, go get sweet potatoes. Otter, you and Porcupine, go down by the river to that tar pit and bring me up some pitch. Do you know what pitch is? It's thick, sticky, black tar. They use it on roads and roofs. It is a petroleum-based product. And it's sticky. When they brought it up, they set it down, and Anansi and the animals worked together, and they shaped it so it looked like a rabbit. They set down the sweet potatoes in front of it, and they hid. And just in time, too, because through the forest, they could hear the fairy coming. They heard her voice saying, la-di-da, la-di-da, la-di-da. Don't look! Sweet potatoes. I love sweet potatoes. Hey, can I have some of those sweet potatoes? Anansi kind of moved the head of the rabbit. Great! They watched as the sweet potatoes floated up into the air. And they watched them disappear bite by bite. Burp. And when the sweet potatoes were gone, they heard the fairy's voice say, thank you. The rabbit said nothing. Excuse me, I said thank you. The rabbit said nothing. Maybe you don't hear good out of that ear. I said thank you. Maybe you weren't educated proper. Look, when somebody says thank you, you should say you're welcome. Let's try it again. Thank you. Now I think you're being deliberately rude. Now look, I'm going to give you one more chance. I'm going to say thank you. You're going to say you're welcome. If you don't say you're welcome, I'll teach you a lesson, I will. I'll smack you upside the head. Young people, do we solve our problems by smacking people upside the head? No, of course we don't. But this was, as I have already indicated, a particularly wicked fairy. You ready? Okay, here we go. Thank you. All right, you asked for it. Hi-ya! Hey, let go. You let go of me right now, I tell you. You let go of me or I'll let you hurt you. Oh, you think you're so smart, huh? Why, before she knew it, that fairy was so tied up in all that pitch, she couldn't move at all. And off she went to Niame. And the animals leaped up. They shouted and they sang and they said, "We got 4 done. We're gonna get the stories. We got 4 done. We're gonna get the stories. We got 4 done. We're gonna get the stories." Woo! And when Anansi came back down, he had the basket. And when he lifted the lid, the stories came out and they spread all over the world. And the first story that was told, of course, was the story of how Anansi brought down stories from the sky. And that's the story. There you go. Oh, you all are good at that, too. That was great. Now, I have one more very short story, if you don't mind. So, you remember Jack? Yeah, you're the guy that climbed the beanstalk? Yeah, that Jack. Turns out, you may know this, there are lots and lots of stories about Jack. Tons of them. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't know about Jack is Jack's favorite food. Yes, there is. Jack's favorite food is mac and cheese. Do you guys like mac and cheese? Yeah. My wife is passionate about mac and cheese. She likes the fancy macaroni and the 5 cheeses and the breadcrumbs, but she's also perfectly happy with yellow powder from the box. She's doing keto right now, so there's no mac and cheese in her life, which is sad. Now, one night, Mama was getting ready to make supper. She says, "Jack, what you want for supper?" And Jack says, "Oh, Mama, you know what I want. I want mac and cheese." All right, we'll get going on it. And, oh, dear. "Jack, honey, I'm sorry, we're all out of cheese." "Well, Mama, you best go to the store and get some." "Well, Jack, I can't go to the store. I ain't got no money." But we gotta have mac and cheese. I might die if I don't get it. "Mama, I will not let this happen. I will go forth, and I will find you cheese." And so he went out into the night. He went to his nearest neighbors. He said, "Hi, hey, everybody, look, we need to make mac and cheese for supper, but we are all out of cheese. Do you got any cheese we could borrow?" So they went to the pantry to get some cheese, and do you know what? Mice had stolen all of their cheese. Yeah, you could see them heading off over the hills. He went over to some other neighbors. He said, "Hi, look, we need some cheese to make mac and cheese. You got any cheese?"
No.
They were fresh out. "Hey, y'all, do y'all have any cheese we can borrow?"
No.
Well, you know, they went to look for their cheese, and heading out the door was that group of mice. Yeah. "Excuse me, mac and cheese. You got any cheese?"
Yes.
They thought they were holding it in their hands when a horde of 200 mice leaped up through the air, grabbed all the cheese, and headed off. There was no mice, no cheese anywhere around. They were all out. Jack was walking back home dejectedly along the top of the mountain when a newspaper blew past. He picked up the newspaper. The headline was amazing. The headline in the newspaper said, "Astronomer discovers life on the moon." English astronomer William Herschel was looking through his telescope last week when he saw rivers and lakes and plants and animals and people on the moon. There were illustrations and everything. And Jack, he looked at that and he said, you know what? He looked over, the moon was just rising above the mountain, big and full, so close looking you could almost touch it. Everybody knows the moon's made out of green cheese. It's worth a try. Hey! Hey up there, I'm in need of some cheese. Could you throw me a rope? And so he began to climb and climb. Pretty soon, he reached the point where he was no longer climbing. Instead, he was, whoa! Oh, my word. That's the earth up there. That must mean I'm on the moon. It was kind of spongy, like maybe it was made out of cheese. And everything was green. The water was green, and the plants was green, and whoa, the people was green too. Jack knew what to do in these situations. He came up, he said, I come in peace. Take me to your leader. And so they did. They took Jack to the king of the moon people. And Jack said, Your Majesty, my name's Jack. I've come from Earth. We really want to make mac and cheese, but we're all out. Do you think you could get me some cheese? And the king said, Oh, Jack, we would be delighted to help you. Because we all know aliens speak with English accents. It's just the way it works. Unfortunately, our cheese mines have been taken over by a fearsome giant. Jack said, A giant? I know all about giants. This giant is so terrifying and awful, it has kidnapped my daughter, the princess, and taken her prisoner. There's a princess too? King, tell you what, I will go and take care of the giant and rescue your daughter. Jack, if you could do that, I would give you all the cheese you could carry. But beware, between here and the cheese mine, there are fearful creatures. Beware of the moonicorn. Jack didn't know what that was, but he headed out. Now, of course, there wasn't much gravity, so he kind of walked like this. Ooh. Ooh. He was nearing the cheese mines when from a hillside he heard, there was the moonicorn. It had 6 legs. It had 3 heads. It was all covered in green and black stripes. And on the middle head, there was a horn about 4 feet long. It looked straight at Jack and it said, lunch. Jack was backed up against one of them great big tall green trees, and he watched as the unicorn lowered its head and charged straight at him. Sparks were flying off its hooves as it came running along, and poor Jack was so scared he couldn't move. He was just going, and the moonicorn was, just at the last moment, Jack jumped. And what with the low gravity and all, he jumped about 25 feet in the air.
Really?
Uh-huh. And the moonicorn ran its horn straight through the tree, and there it was stuck.
Oh my God.
Jack, he headed on over to the cheese mine. Outside the entrance, he picked up a torch, because there's always a torch outside the cave or the mine. He held it up so he could see, and oh, something dripped on his head. Oh, cheese. Oh, he held it a little close to the roof. Melted things. He saw quickly that he was in a layer of soft cheeses, mostly brie and camembert. But he went further down. He passed a layer of provolones. As he came around a corner from a side tunnel, he heard a low bright green eyes glared at him out of the darkness, and charging down the tunnel came a fearsome and awful monster. Jack reached for a cheese slicer nearby, and as the monster charged, he went and quickly reduced it to a lovely cheese platter. Had he had some, grapes and crackers and things, he'd have been in great shape. On he went, deeper. Oh my gosh, what is that smell? Oh, it's awful. It's like old feet. He had entered the stinky cheese's lair. The Limburger was particularly powerful. But at last he came out of it into a great cheddar cavern. And there, in a cage in the center, was the princess. Oh, she was beautiful, tall and willowy, with long, flowing green hair. Jack said, "Princess, hi, I'm Jack. I'm here to rescue you." She said, "Oh, good, but shh, the giant will hear you." Jack grabbed a bar, and he broke open the lock. "Come on, princess." But as they were going, they heard, boom, boom, fee, fi, fo, fees. Who is the man that stole my cheese? Jack, run! They began to run. As they ran, they heard, roar! Jack said, "What was that?" "Oh, Jack, he's not alone. He's got his Martian marsh dragon with him." "He has a dragon?" "Yeah, with 5 heads." Charging, they ran as fast as they could go, but closer and closer behind them, they heard the footsteps of the giant and the roars of the dragon. Finally, Jack said, "Princess, we're never going to outrun him. I think I know what to do." He looked down the tunnel toward the dragon. "Ho, you big, slow dragon!" Roar! "Jack, don't make him angry." "Shh, I got this." "You're so slow you couldn't catch my grandma." Roar! "Jack, shh. You're so weak you couldn't light a birthday candle." All 5 heads at once went roar, and flames shot up the tunnel. They happened to be in a layer of Swiss and Gruyere just at that moment, and the heat from the flames melted the entire tunnel. And the giant and the dragon were swept away on a river of fondue. Jack returned the princess to her father. The king was so pleased he loaded Jack down with all the cheese he could possibly carry. And when he got home, they didn't just have mac and cheese for a night, they had mac and cheese for as long as they could want. And the last time I was down that way, he hadn't had much of anything else since. And that is the story. Oh, my friends, thank you very much for coming and hanging out with us today. Remember, you've got this great library full of books, so read a ton. And remember, too, if you get to spend time with grandmas or grandpas or aunts and uncles, make sure and ask them to tell you stories about the silly things your parents did when they were little. Make sure and ask the old folks to tell you stories about life in the olden days. And in the meanwhile, have a great summer. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out.